Ready to start. Welcome everybody for investor conference, first half 2021 financial results and company performance. We'll speak about that obviously, but we will be very willing to share a bit more color on the future of the company as well. We have today a couple of key management guys with me. Who will take part in the conference and will cover their parts of the presentation in respect to their functions. So we're starting with the mission. The mission for CI Games is to continually develop both existing and new brands, renowned and enjoyed at a global scale. With the regular releases of genre-leading titles celebrated for quality, creativity, and innovation, we strive to ensure financial performance and growth. And as you probably already seen from the results that we posted for first half 2021, our performance is really growing very strongly. And the recent titles that we released in the market, they are of a high quality, and that's been seen both by the gamers and by critics. Our corporate strategy is around 4 pillars: a solid foundation, an even stronger future, ever-growing brands, and we mean Sniper Ghost Warrior, Lords of the Fallen, and as we said before, we would be looking into setting up the next brands in the future. Continual team development, and for those of you that you've been looking at our company for a longer period of time, you've seen really great expansion of the company, expansion of the teams. Back to 2019, the company was one team developing Sniper Ghost Warrior franchise. As for today, we have 2 separate teams working on 2 separate IPs, Sniper Ghost Warrior and Lords of the Fallen, and the size of the teams are much larger than they were even a year and a half ago. The 4th pillar is ambitious growth plan, and it's already been evident through our latest financial performance, but I think there's a lot more to come in the next several years. So the last 3 years, they've been really important to the company. We turned around the organization back to 2018. We streamlined that down to only 30 developers, and we started to build the structures and basically change the organization from a very local one country organization to more global operation that is spread among several countries and is managed by a very senior management team. We started with contracts, Sniper Ghost Warrior contracts, so that was a bit twist to our existing franchise. It did work well for us with contracts 1 being financially, commercially successful and also achieving a very good user score and better reviews from the media. And back to 2018, we established United Label. That is our that is the company, that's the brand that is behind smaller releases that are coming globally from very talented developers. In the last 3 years, obviously a big part of our growth comes from Hex Wars, our internal studio that is developing a Lords of the Fallen franchise. At this moment, the majority of the team is, bigger part of the team is in Barcelona, but we have teams in Romania, in the UK, France, and beyond that. Saul will say more about that during the presentation. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, just released the 4th of June, became really very successful release for us, both from the commercial standpoint and from the quality standpoint, being the best received, best reviewed game so far in the franchise. 2021, the very beginning of that, we established the marketing team, the new marketing team out of the UK. Right now, the marketing team is 7 people. I think it's very visible already throughout Sniper Ghost War Contracts 2, but also Eldest Souls and soon Tales of Iron, that quality products, when they matched with the quality marketing, then this is really improving the outcome those games can produce. And recently, that's just recently, we have started the process of getting more synergies between the projects, between the studios, meaning the studio in Warsaw that is developing Sniper Ghost War franchise, and the studio in Hexworks in those number of countries. We moved to one technology that, in fact, we started working on that from Sniper Ghost Warrior franchise standpoint already early 2020. We moved to one technology that is that in the future we can share systems, solutions, knowledge between the teams. That is absolutely improving the efficiency of our development. The company is already 20 years in developing AA, AA+, AAA games, established 2002. 15 million copies sold of games in those 2 franchises. 5 offices, Poland, Spain, UK, US, and Romania. Current headcount is over 150 people. That is a substantial increase versus 1 year ago. And our management team has an average of 14 years of experience. So in a summary, we are a globally recognized developer and publisher of high-quality video games. And a great support of that is seeing how many people who bought previous Sniper Ghost War games were buying initially Sniper Ghost War Contracts 2. Initially in the first days, we've seen a lot of people coming back who played previous our games to buy Sniper Ghost War Contracts 2. And that's great. Obviously, we had a lot of new audiences joining that trend. But it's great to see so many people coming back to buy the next game from the franchise. I think it's important to stress the fact that there's a lot more to come, and there's a lot more we can do over both franchises, meaning Sniper Ghost Warrior and Lords of the Fallen. And I think we have learned a lot over the years, and we have conducted a lot of data, and we put a lot of thinking into how we can make the next games really more successful, much more successful than the previous installments. And as I said before, I think we can definitely say that we have a very strong growth and high margin business, and that's evident in our financial performance. And I think we will further improve that over the next quarters and over the next years. So the management team is very important to the growth of the organization. And I think it's a big upgrade. It's a big change to what we had years ago. And I think it's a key contributor to where the company is right now, or where the company can be in the next 2 to 3 years. So obviously, Saul is today with us. Saul is the executive producer for Lords of the Fallen franchise, and he has been really great in co-establishing the studio and growing the studio, and basically hiring so many great talented developers, and establishing pipelines, establishing production, and moving with the game. And we're very happy where we are with the game. Saul can say more. We basically achieved all the milestones pretty much as planned so far after that almost year and a half when we took over the project internally. Tobias, who is not together with us today, Tobias is the executive producer for Sniper Ghost War franchise. I think he was an important contributor, and the team leader to making sure that, he joined at the beginning of this year, to making sure that the game is in the right quality, right polished, and establish a lot of pipelines and restructure how the team will work. Speaking about the next Sniper Ghost Warrior that is already into production. Cesar is the creative director. It's from the very start of Hex Wars. Has done great work on the creative side for Lords of the Fallen. Kenton is the creative director, creative lead for Sniper Ghost War franchise. He has done already quite significant contribution to Sniper Ghost War Contracts 2, and pretty much from the beginning of that year, he has taken over the concepting and working on the next Sniper Ghost Warrior. And it's great to have everything pretty much planned from the standpoint of creative side on the next Sniper Ghost Warrior. The team is now in production. A big majority of the team is in production. Ryan, he's together with us today. He's the marketing director, and I think he has done a great work with his team on marketing Sniper Ghost War Contracts 2 and Elder Souls and Tales of Iron. It's been a lot of work for the entire team, but I think we definitely see that outcomes are absolutely there. Darren is a new addition to our global management team. Darren is running United Label. Just recently joined beginning of July. I think there's a lot to come together. He will cover the United Label part today in the presentation. Reese is our technical director. Reese is sharing responsibility of the technical director between the two main franchises. He has a lot of experience in this industry, a lot of experience as a tech lead, and it's great to have Reese. And I'm sure that he will contribute a lot further on to both of the franchises. Monica has been around with the company for many years already. She's on top of the HR and admin, and obviously HR she's helping in HR to all the key leaders across the teams. He's doing admin, and he's a great help out of Warsaw office. And Katarzyna, she's together with us. She's the financial director, already pretty seasoned in over CI Games. She's making sure that we are basically having all financial part done the best it can be done, and I think her long experience over Deloitte is really helping to improve the processes and professionalize further and further the financial part. So the global team, we have 5 main geographic locations, and obviously a lot of those locations are still remote because of COVID. This is United Kingdom, where we have the development, where we have the marketing and sales. The United States, where we have the sales for North and Latin America. Poland, where we have our development studio, finance and admin. Spain, where we have the development and management of the products and management of the business. And Romania, where we have also the development. Obviously, United Kingdom, Romania, and Spain. Those are the key 3 locations for Lords of the Fallen. But, we have people working out of France, out of many other countries, contributing. And I think Saul will say more, but the decision on the distributed development was a great decision in order to be able to build a team so talented and so senior team that we have been able to achieve over the last year and a half. Our headcount by function, 124, development, finance and admin, 17 and 12 in sales and marketing, just very brief split. So Sniper Ghost War franchise, I'm sure that a lot of you are familiar to that, and especially with the latest release of Sniper Ghost War Contracts 2. That franchise we established, the first game came out 2010. That game came out on, I think first it was PC and Xbox, then a year later it was followed on PlayStation. It was a big success. And we built the franchise further on with the next installments. I think as for now, we are having our own space, and we are the best-selling first-person shooter sniping game out there globally. And we will continue to further develop and improve the next installments in the franchise to reach bigger audiences. And I think we have a very clear plan how we can achieve that. And I think we are, our obviously expectations are higher than from the next one than Contracts 2 performance. And I think we absolutely ready to go for it and ready to achieve. So this is basically just to show everybody what was the contribution of each product from Sniper Ghost Warrior franchise in the first half 2021 in terms of the revenue. But it's also, I think, very important to see how much of progress we have done over the years, over the installments, in terms of the quality of those games, speaking through the user score and speaking through the Metacritic. There's a high degree of improvement, and there is absolutely quality we delivered over the last installments. I think that at this point, I would like you, Ryan, to take it further and speak more about Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 and the marketing, what you have done for that.
Brilliant, thank you, Marek. So yeah, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2.
We don't hear you, Ryan.
Do something?
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not working.
Well, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, you go ahead, Ryan.
Okay, so yeah, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, 5th entry in the series, released on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS4 and PC on the 4th of June, and then later also on PS5 on the 24th of August. As of August 31st, the title has now sold over 560,000 copies, and we've now achieved a full return on investment, having spent approximately 6.5 million euros on development and marketing. So Contracts 2 is the most impressive entry in the series to date, not only from a visual perspective, but also from a gameplay perspective as well. It was designed primarily for next-gen consoles, and as a result, it included improved textures, more lifelike characters, and 4K graphics. It is also the first entry in the franchise to introduce 1,000 meter plus extreme range shooting, which is one of the most highly requested features from our fan base. So not only was it the most advanced game in the series yet, but in order to match that level of quality, as Marek discussed, CI Games brought in a new marketing department January this year, headed up by myself. So when I joined, the team was 2 people, and now we're 7 people strong. And I think you can see the difference that's achieved in the figures. So after 10 days, Contracts 2 achieved 170% uplift in digital revenue compared to its predecessor, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 1. And this is a result of the following factors. So Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 temporarily damaged player sentiment due to having multiple bugs at launch. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts, which arrived 2 years after this one, restored sentiment and had a far stronger reception. So having restored that player sentiment, the foundation was much stronger for us to launch Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2. As I said, this game improved, it's not only a more advanced entry, but it also improved everything players loved about its predecessor. And then obviously we had a top quality marketing and influencer-led promotional campaign to amplify the reach the game already achieved. So we had a huge uplift in influencer coverage as we can see on the next page, where I'll go through some of the figures. So yeah, as I was saying, we concentrated primarily on Twitch and YouTube when it came to influencers. On Twitch, on launch weekend, we peaked at 85,000 concurrents. So we were the most watched single player campaign for our launch weekend. We've had over 2,400 Twitch streamers play the game. We've got over 2,000 videos on YouTube. So yeah, huge uplift in comparison to previous entries in the series. And this is also bolstered by the fact that this is our highest scoring entry to the franchise so far as well. So on Metacritic, for the Xbox Series X, we've currently got a 74 rating. Like I said, this is the highest the franchise has ever achieved. And then on Steam, we have a user review rating of 83%. And again, this is the highest scoring rating we've had for the franchise as well. So strongest game yet, strongest marketing campaign yet, and as a result, we've had our strongest sales to date as yet as well.
Cool. So, Marek, do you want to intro, or should I just go for it?
Just go for it.
Okay, I guess I'll just go for it. So, well, nice to meet you, everybody. So we're going to talk a bit now about Lords of the Fallen and Hex Wars. So, as you very well know, Lords of the Fallen, it's a third-person action RPG. It's been quite a big success in the Soulsborne genre, selling more than 3 million lifetime sales, plus all the extra users that actually enjoy the game through different passes, the Xbox Pass, the Sony, PlayStation Pass, etc. Right, PlayStation Plus. And so, you know, it was released in 2014 in PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, and it was a very it left its mark in the genre by being perceived as the first, let's say, Soulsborne AAA, right? So. In terms of profit, it has reached over 50 million Polish zloty to the date, and you know, it's like Sniper Ghost Warrior. It's a very successful franchise. It's very known in the industry, both by players and by professionals as well. And we will go later into more details, but this EP has helped us a lot, being able to recruit a badass. Highly experienced team, and we built, as Marek was explaining before, we built a team to work on Lords of the Fallen 2 and any further, let's say, action RPGs that we want to work on, right? So, what's the team behind this Lords of the Fallen 2? The team behind Lords of the Fallen 2 is called Hex Wars, as Marek explained before. So who is Hex Wars? Like what's Hex Wars? So Hex Wars is a studio founded by CA Games. It's conceived to with its own name, with the name Hex Wars, to create a brand for players. So the idea is that then players can recognize the brand of Hex Wars as experts on this action RPG genre, right? So now we're working on Lords of the Fallen 2. We will see in the future what the future brings us, right? So in terms of how the team works, how the team was conceived to actually work with remote working in mind, adapting to the new, the very unfortunate times we're living with the pandemic, right? But instead of, let's say, being sad about it, okay, how we can make this work, how we can make this actually into our advantage, right? And what we found is that by working remotely, we've been able to target, allocate, and hire some of the best talent in the industry for the type of game that we are actually building, right? So this team, it's very senior. This allows us to embrace what we call a laser focus approach to development, which means that the team is working on very specific targets, very specific goals, and with their experience, the development is pretty smooth. The first game we're developing is Lords of the Fallen 2, which is the sequel to the first Lords of the Fallen, obviously. and we want to expand the universe of the Lords of the Fallen. So in the first game, you actually played in a monastery. And in the second game, we're going to expand this universe and show you other parts of this world. We also want to focus more to bring the game a bit more to the darker, a dark fantasy universe, like let's say the fans of this type of games we've seen through analytics that are more keen into. So we are basically giving them what they expect, what they are looking for in this type of game. So we overhaul the combat system. We enhance the visuals, the overall gameplay, and we are using Unreal Engine to actually be able to achieve all of this at a very high quality level at launch. So how do we work, right? So how does Hex work? So we have several key, let's say, pillars for the way that we work. The first one, and very important, is that securing the gameplay it's one of our main targets. So, like the game must be super beautiful, but it needs to also be fun to play. It needs to be engaging. It needs to be challenging, right? So for this, to secure the gameplay, what we do is that we work in a structure that is called strike teams. So we identify core features that we want for combat, enemies, bosses, ranged attacks, magic, RPG elements, etc. And then we build internal teams, sub-teams, let's say, that are specialized and focused on that specific topic. So then they work in iterations, in 2 weeks iterations that obviously we review, we iterate, etc., etc. And then this way we can actually push for the quality on each of the key topics that we identify for the game that we're creating. In terms of the content production, we have an optimized pipeline in which internals and external teams work in tandem. So basically, our team is actually 61 people, but with externals, we're talking about 120 more or less in total people working on the project at this point. As we're talking right now. So then internal team, basically, it works like the brain of the project, designs the universe, the characters, the environments, the events, the narrative, everything. And then with external teams, what we do is that we produce the high amount of content that we need for the game at high quality, right? So basically we have several I'm not going to go into details right now, not to extend this too much, but we have gating processes with our external partners. So then this way we make sure that everything that goes into the game is actually at par on the quality and the objectives that we actually establish from the get-go. Then, as I mentioned before, I mentioned iterations. This is the way, the key way to actually achieve quality. So everything that we work on the game, we work on iterations. So first, let's say we draft it with white boxes, with blockout animations, with placeholder assets, etc., to check, test, and verify that yes, the ideas that we had with designers, level designers, or artists are great, right? So of course, when you are designing a game or you are conceiving a game, you always think, oh, this is going to be great. And then when you place it together, some things stick, so great, and some things don't. So to actually optimize our cost and optimize our processes, we do this iteration process. So we start in white box stage, so we can validate very early if a feature, an enemy, a boss, it's going to be as great as we plan or not. And if it's not, then we can course correct quite fast and quite dynamically, right? So this we apply it also to the full production, to our roadmap, to like the classic you've probably all have heard about alphas, betas, etc., etc. So in our internal plan, we are targeting to have on April 2022 next year the full game playable beginning to end with all the enemies, all the bosses, basically almost full content complete. And we say almost full content complete because, of course, as I explained before, we have the iteration process, right? So some things are going to be almost final and some things are going to be will need more iterations, right? But the key here is that to actually achieve this quality, this high level of quality, we want to hit April 2022 with a full game playable beginning to end. So then we can dedicate, after this key milestone, a very long time to actually focus on polishing, debugging, polishing, debugging, polishing, debugging. So when we launch the game, people perceive it as a AAA, right? So in terms of the narrative, this is very important for when you're building a fantasy universe, and this is something that is very important to our players as well. We've done a lot of research with online with external teams, etc., etc. We have a lot of information from this that we've worked on. So reaching an epic narrative, it's a key aspect. And to secure this, basically the full team is engaged with this world building and this epic narrative. So every corner of the wall, our goal is it explains a story to the player, right? So when they are exploring this universe, they can dive into it, forget about their day-to-day, and then just think, okay, what happened here, right? And they can see a small story of, oh shit, this family, what happened here? Oh, I don't know, bam. And then you can discover with some notes, with some trails of objects that you can follow to actually get this world push forward how believable it is, how immersive it is, right? Then this is all good and dandy, right? Because but this is a big project. So how do you keep the focus of the game? So to keep the focus of the game, we use what we call a crown system. We use crown system because we are talking about epic fantasy, so crown fit very well. So in terms of the crown system, we have basically all the features identified of the game, or all our core features: combat, bosses, environments, enemies, NPCs, narrative, etc., etc., etc. And then we qualify them with either gold, silver, or bronze. So that means that everybody in the team knows exactly what are the strengths of the game at launch, right? So this is something that we've agreed not only internally but also with management and marketing on what are the key pillars of this game. How is this game going to be played? So for people to have fun, but also how is this game going to be sold to the audience, so they actually can say, okay, I want to play that game, right? So that's what this means. And then working remotely, as I said at the beginning, this has been absolutely brilliant for us to be able to recruit badass team. So we built the team from the ground up. So the team started with just Marek, myself, and Cesar, our creative director, of like, okay, let's start doing this. Okay, we have a plan, let's execute it. And actually, along this year and a half that we've been working on this, we've grown from 3, right, at Hexworks, of course, always with the support of Poland. So it's not really 3, but 3 on Hexworks. So from 3 at Hexworks to actually 61 people working for Lords of the Fallen 2, plus the externals, which of course that are not part of our team. They are external support, right? So our remote work approach, the key has been that it allowed us to really hire the great talent that we wanted, like freely from their ability to relocate, their will to relocate, etc. Right? So this is something that has resonated very well with the gaming industry, and actually we planned for a senior team, and we got a super senior team. So like it really worked very well. Right now, it's surprisingly well. So all in all, I'm not going to extend myself too much more, but the average experience of the team is around 12 years, and from the 61 people, 90% are actual developers. So the majority of Hexworks team is actually hardworking, talented people. Right.
Thank you, Saul. I had a bit of a problem with the sound. It's been fixed, so thanks a lot. United Label, Darren, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Darren Newnham. I'm the new CEO for United Label. Joined in July. So the vision for United Label is to unite creative development, empowering developers with our kind of publishing know-how, and part of our job is to kind of find those hidden gems in the smaller developer community. Here's a quick snapshot of the titles that we've launched so far, and obviously, Tales of Wine is coming up on the 17th of September, which is very exciting. One thing to add here is that we've already signed a new project with the developer of Tales of Wine, with Oddbug. Further, I guess, ratifying our requirement for longer-term partnerships with developers. So a quick look at our background. Our BD team at the moment are still continuing to engage with the developer community. Their job is to source new titles and to provide United Label with a solid return on investment. Rocky was our first kind of maiden title from the beautiful developers over at Polygon Treehouse, and that game continues to sell. 75,000 units have sold to date. We are in discussions with new platforms to see if we can push it onto those areas, and that begins to build a solid back catalogue for United Label. Eldest Souls from our Fallen Flag studios, that broke even within 2 weeks and continues to sell very well. We've already identified key discount and campaign periods over the next 6 to 8 months to keep those sales healthy. And obviously, we're looking at investigating other ways to extend the game life cycle of Eldest Souls. In a little over 2 weeks, we launched Tales of Iron from Old Bug Studios. The Steam wishlist at the moment is over 50,000. We're already increasing that by over 1,000 per day. So we're expecting some good results from Tales of Iron. An exciting part for us is we're looking to aim to develop our own IP in the coming months. We've identified a few kind of genre areas that we think would be strong to go into, and so we're looking to develop our own IP. So that's a quick snapshot of United Label. Over to Kasia for the financial report.
Yes, Marek, we cannot hear you, but I will move to financial report. So today morning we publish our financial numbers for the first half of this year, and here I'm presenting the key snapshot of the Q2 financial highlights. So if you can see that revenue in the second quarter reached almost 40 million Polish zloty, which is around 81% of half-year revenue. It shows that second quarter was very strong comparing to the first quarter. It was 3 times higher comparing to the first quarter of this year. EBITDA for the second quarter was over 23 million Polish zloty with margin almost 59%. Net profit for the group is almost 11 million. With profitability over 27%. Cash position is 20 million zloty with earning per share 6 groszy per share. In terms of the revenue breakdown for the first half, you can see that new releases, the new game contributed 69% of the revenue in the first half of this year, but it also shows that we have still back catalog, which generates almost 1/3 of the revenue, which we think that it's good because it shows that the games which had their releases in over a year ago and 4 years ago, they are still generate revenue and contributes to profitability of our business. In terms of the split, our revenues into digital and physical, 65% was generated by digital stream. However, we expect that in the long term, digital part the share of digital part in total revenue will be increasing because the highest physical sales is usually generated in the first month of the release. In terms of the breakdown of the revenue into consoles and PC, it's almost half and half. Yes, going to the details of the financial performance. So as I mentioned, the revenue in the second quarter was almost 40 million zlotys, which accounted over 80% of half-year revenue. Our EBIT margin was 37% and EBITDA almost 59%. In terms of the profit, I just wanted to draw your attention to one fact. Profit before tax amounted to over 14 million Polish zloty, while net profit was almost 11 million. The tax that we recorded as is actually deferred tax. which means that it's a non-cash movement in the balance sheet. In the first half of this year, we paid just only 11,000 of the tax, and the 4 million is non-cash movement in the deferred tax. Deferred tax, I understand that this is quite complex accounting issue, but this 4 million comprised of two positions. One is movement in the deferred tax asset, which relates to the fact that we utilize tax losses in the first half of this year. So it was around 2 million of non-cash movement. And the second part of deferred tax related to tax difference between valuation of the tax valuation of the development works. What does it mean? It means that in the next half of the year, deferred tax would have positive. It will be not negative but positive in our profit and loss. But we already started paying corporate income tax. What I wanted also to highlight on the financial performance for the second half, for the second quarter and first half of this year, is the fact that we incurred almost all selling costs related to marketing campaign of the Sniper Contracts 2, which means that in the second part of the year, we do not expect any substantial marketing expenses. So it means that our selling costs should go down to, I would say, normalized level. In terms of the balance sheet, I mentioned at the beginning that our cash position is 20 million, and also cash flow from operating activities was in the second quarter around 5 million. What is important to mention that the cash conversion from the new release has been happening in July, August, and September. So this cash flow from operating activities is purely driven from the back catalog. We received advances from our distributors for production of the physical products, but also this cash was used to pay for the production. So you will see in the next month that cash flow from the operating activities would have significant conversion, because on the balance sheet as at the end of June we also had 29 million of receivables, which is nicely converting into cash. Also on the balance sheet, our significant amount, or almost 46%, is intangible assets, which relates to Lords of the Fallen 2, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, and also the next sequel of Sniper Warriors Contracts, which we started to produce in June. Net cash flow from investing activities was negative because we are investing into production of our games. Here we are presenting our performance on the last few years, also including the forecast which was presented in the report prepared by PKO BP Securities. Also, we today publish current report which says that our revenues for July and August is estimated at the level of 18 million Polish zloty. So if we add up revenues for the first half and July and August, so it means that actually the estimated revenues for the whole year maybe exceeded, because it means that only 20 million of revenue is left for the 4 months of this year. So I think that our performance is quite strong, and we expect nice profitability in the coming months. Yes, on this slide we are presenting peer comparison, which was also prepared by external company, just showing that current valuation of our company is actually I would say that undervalued, because different multiples shows that there is still potential for the growth if in valuation of the company.
Thank you, Katarzyna. I think, do you hear me? Okay. So thank you very much for the financial part. Thank you, everybody, for your parts. Going forward, in terms of a strategic roadmap, this is several highlights for Q3 and Q4. So we successfully launched Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 on PlayStation 5. We don't have the yet full data, but I can tell everybody that this will be important release, especially for the long term of that particular installment and for the franchise. We launched Elder Scrolls, that was very successful and profitable in just 2 weeks. We are planning further price promotions and price activities around Contracts 2 and our back catalog, and especially in Q4, back catalog performance can be very, very strong. Tales of Iron will be released, as Darren mentioned, 17th of September, mid-September, very soon, in 2 weeks from now. Look forward to how this game will perform. From the standpoint of what the company will do in terms of further, bringing the understanding of the company, I think what Katarzyna mentioned, the company is right now very undervalued versus the peers, and you can clearly see that. And part of that is we need to bring the understanding of the company to a bigger audience of investors and international investors. So we will be having coverage, analytical coverage from Edison and Redeye starting sometime in September. And we will initiate international roadshow among the investors in the fourth quarter. Further ahead, we will further continue the next installment for Sniper Ghost Warrior, and obviously our largest project that is currently Lords of the Fallen 2. And United Label will continue signing more projects, and think we want to accelerate the growth of the company, but it does not mean we will be signing a lot of projects, but we want to be focused and selective, but we want to definitely move forward the business to the next level over the next years. And I would like to add here that obviously, as we announced, we are into consideration for the strategic options with in regards to CI Games. And there's nothing else we can say about that, but I believe that this will be a potentially good news to the investors. So thank you, everybody, for coming to the presentation, and I'm very open. We have still a couple of minutes for the questions from the investors. So there's a question. I think we answer a lot of those questions in the presentation. What do you think about PKO BP report for 2022 and next years? I mean, we in general do not want to comment on analytical coverage, but except the fact that we think it's very conservative. Very conservative. We think that Lords of the Fallen is a great project, and this is a strong addition to our pipeline. Lords will be a major release, and even looking into Lords of the Fallen 1, we launched that game as a new IP back to 2014, October. That was a difficult month due to many competitors, large releases, and the install base of then the new gen PlayStation 4 and Xbox back to 2014 was limited in terms of the install base. We still have managed to sell almost 1 million copies over the first year. And now the market looks different, and the game will be much stronger from a lot of the angles. So I think in general, that's very conservative. When do you expect the release of Lords of the Fallen 2? I think Saul mentioned that we have an important milestone for April 2022, but we will spend then the time to polish the game to make sure that when the game is launched, it matches the expectations of players and it can achieve the highest potential success. So we do not have the date yet that we can share with the investors, but we're confident about the game and we are confident about the production of that game. When can we expect the next update in regards to the strategic options overview, this year or probably next? We cannot answer that question. We are in the process, and as soon as there is something we can really communicate important to the investors, we will. Will you be adding meaningful multiplayer functionality to your next products? This is a very good question. We cannot answer straightforward because we have not started the marketing campaigns over both the next Sniper Ghost Warrior and Lords of the Fallen. But it's we've been looking into the trends. We've been thinking and discussing a lot of things in regards to that. So it's quite obvious that at some point it should be part of our products. That's the only thing what I can say at this moment. Are you not afraid of distributed development, remote from various locations? I think this is a good question. Saul, if you can answer on that question.
Yeah, of course. So actually, it's an excellent question because this was one of the things that we were actually feeding when we started Hex Wars with Marek and Cesar. We were like, okay, like, is this gonna work? Like, it seems it should, but like, we obviously had our doubts because we were used to actually work on an office, right? Like office with the full team there. But actually, we are hitting all the milestones. We're hitting all the major objectives that we set for the milestones. So the teams are answering very well. We resolve the communication part of remote work by doing daily meetings. So all the teams have their own daily meetings. And then every week on Monday, we have a leads meeting where all leads meet with production, and then we talk about the objectives of the week, if there's any blockers, etc. And then after that, we do it with the whole team. So if anybody has any issues or concerns, they can raise their hand and we can find solutions there. But we use communications as a base, like we use Slack, communication software for companies. So everything is happening super fast, right? And then on Fridays we have show and tells, which the whole team shows to everybody what they've achieved the week. Very clear milestone sets, strike teams. So actually it's working very well. So we were a bit, let's say, dubious at the beginning. Like, okay, let's we think we're gonna get the talent. Let's see how it goes the milestone. If not, we will open the offices, the physical offices in key locations, right? But actually, we're seeing that it's working. The team is very efficient. It also helps. We are cheating a bit here because it also helps that our team is very senior. So then that also helps too. So you don't need to handheld anybody in the team. Everybody's once they understand and agree on the goals, it's very straightforward for them to actually work on that feature / art asset, whatever it is. So it's working very, very well actually, and we're hitting the milestone. So we are on this regard. We are very confident and very calm and very reassured that we did the right choice.
Thank you, Saul. So I see the question is, do we expect any serious issues of changing the engine for Sniper Ghost Warrior? No, we do not expect, since we have started the process over a year ago, preparing to that and preparing certain systems and concepting and planning. And I think it's very important component is that the fact that Lords of the Fallen team is working on Unreal. So maybe you can add here, Saul, how we basically support, the teams support each other and how the team can help in case there is a need for help, and what is the structure from the tech standpoint behind Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah. So as Mark mentioned before, right, we are creating synergies through technology, right? So besides, of course, like talking about specific topics, like a programmer wants to talk to a programmer or an artist or a tech artist, whatever. In globally, the fact that both teams are using Unreal Engine, and the fact that Sniper already started with this a long time ago, as well as Lord of the Fallen was natively in Unreal Engine as well. This helped a lot because then we share a lot of pipelines, we share technologies. So, for instance, when we talk about repository solutions, we talk about build farms, we talk about, there is a lot of technical aspects that go into the creation of a game, that when it's shared, it's much easier, right? It's much easier for everybody, because then, like, oh, do you need help on something? There is not just one team that knows how to do that, but it's two teams that know how to do that. So we kind of double down on technical problems, let's say, if any arise, we can fix them fast. Also, the tech director, RIS12, which is working between the two studios, which is working both for Sniper and for Lords of the Fallen. He has a vast experience in Unreal Engine. He worked on the original Mass Effect, which was already in Unreal Engine, and it's also a key member of this, let's say, technology sharing approach that we're doing right now, right? So, but like, I could go into a lot of details, but just to explain it high level, is like, somebody said, hey, how do we solve this for AI? For instance, an enemy AI, we want to improve this thing, whatever, environment awareness. So, okay, so then how did the Lords of the Fallen team fix it? Okay, we share it. And the other way around, how did the Sniper team fix it? So we take it. So this helps a lot, right? Also, Unreal, it's the most used engine out there in the gaming community, both by indie developers, but especially also by professional development teams. So this makes it even easier to find information, get support, find different solutions. So it's actually been a key technological move for both studios.
Okay. Thank you, Saul. I think that the last question, we are already over time, so we'll answer the last question. Will you sell part of your shares potentially to strategic investor if the company decides to pursue that path? I'm not planning absolutely to sell my shares to strategic investor. So that's not about my shares. I'm not planning anything in regards to that, if this will be the scenario, because we're considering different options. So just answering the question, no. All right. Thank you, everybody, for taking part in the investor conference. We will continue with earnings calls over the next reports for the next quarters. Yeah, thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.